What's up, everybody? It's me, Anthony, and I'm getting very excited because it's the time of the week again. It's Anthony's NFL Picks. Week 13. Now stuff is about to go down, and the playoff picture is slowly coming together and slowly forming over these next couple 5 weeks. And I'm excited for all of it now. I know which teams are good, and we'll get to those later. But before we start, please like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. So last week, I did a very well job at a 9-5 record. Really good. And now my overall record is 114, 61-1, which is really good still. But now, let's get things started. And this is a Thanksgiving special. And kicking it off for Thanksgiving, it's an NFC North rivalry, classical one. We got the 7-3-1 Packers and the 7-4 Lions. Packers are here after winning against the Vikings 23-6. Green Bay still looks alive, and they've done this. I think Josh Jacobs was not in, which is huge for Green Bay because Josh Jacobs is like a really good running back now. He's doing a really great job in Green Bay after, coming from the Raiders. Now they're going on to Detroit, and they beat Detroit in week 1, 27-13. I think the Lions will split the series with them. The Lions are a really good team still, even though they almost lost to the Giants in overtime. But again, the Giants are the Giants. We'll get to those later. They beat them 34-27 in overtime. I'm still going to go with Detroit. Detroit's a better team. I think they're going to split the series with the Packers for this season. The Lions will defeat the Packers 24-19. Lions will be 8-4. Packers will go on to be 7-4-1. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 6-5 Chiefs and the 5-1 Cowboys. Both teams are coming back from wins. The Chiefs, they're here after beating the Colts in overtime 23-20. The Chiefs may not be over yet, but I don't think they're going to win the West now because of the Broncos and the Chargers. But I think they could get a wildcard spot. But it's anyone's gain in the AFC. That's the AFC picture we're looking for. The NFC is pretty much straightforward with, we'll get to those later again. But the Cowboys are here after beating the Eagles, coming back from 24 unanswered points, knocking them out 24-21. I swear, I think Marshawn Kneeland is blessing the Cowboys. Ever since then, they've been undefeated 2-0. They beat the Raiders on Monday night, and now they just beat the Eagles. They split the series with Philadelphia, by the way. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. The Chiefs need to get back on track. If they want to get that wild card spot, they have to go for it, and this is a must-win situation. I think they're going to beat Dallas on Thanksgiving. The Chiefs will defeat the Cowboys 27-23. Chiefs will go on to be 7-5. The Cowboys will go on to be 5-6-1. We're moving on with the next game. And coming up next, we have an AFC North matchup for Thanksgiving on Thursday night. It's between the 3-8 Bengals and the 6-5 Ravens. Bengals are here after almost beating the Patriots, losing to them mainly because the Patriots had a bad injury. But the Bengals, they have some good news coming up. The good news is that Joe Burrow is finally returning on Thursday after suffering that bad injury in week 2 against Jacksonville. Now he's finally returning. He's finally back after his injury. And now they're going on against the Ravens, however, and T. Higgins is not playing for this game. He is injured. The Ravens are here after winning again, and this time they've been really good lately, Baltimore. They beat the Jets 23-10, but again, the Jets are the Jets. I'm going to go with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is doing very well. They were 1-5 this season. And ever since their bye week, they have been undefeated. They have won 5 straight games. They are back on track, that Ravens team. And I think they're going to win the AFC North at this point because the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns are utter garbage. I'm going with the Ravens. Ravens will defeat the Bengals 30-17. Ravens will go on to be 7-5. The Bengals will go on to be 3-9. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we have our first Black Friday game. And this is a really good game now. Going into September, it's like, But now it's a good game. It's a battle between the second place for the NFC conference. It's between the 8-3 Bears and the 8-3 Eagles. I am saying that correctly. The Chicago Bears have an 8-3 record, and they lead the NFC North, which is crazy. They beat the Steelers 31-28, but they are really good all of a sudden. They're going to be competing with the Packers and the Lions for the North now. The Vikings are dead. But the Eagles are also here after losing to the Cowboys, that ugly loss, 24-21. And if I'm sounding a little bit weird, I'm coming back from a little sickness. I had like a mini cold. But either way, the Eagles, I think, are going to win. They have to get back on track. They don't want to repeat of 2023 where they were 10-1 at one point and they just fell apart and got blown out by the Buccaneers in the wild card. So I think this is a must-win game. It's in Philadelphia, so I think the Eagles are going to take this win over the Bears. The Eagles will defeat the Bears 34-31. Eagles will be 9-3. Bears will go on to be 8-4. We move on with our next games. And our next games up, we take them to our 1 p.m. games for Sunday, the 30th of November. Our first 1 p.m. game, we have the 2-9 Saints and the 4-7 Dolphins. Saints are here after losing to Atlanta 26-10. Even without Michael Penix, the Saints still lost that game. Like Tyler Shaw, I don't think he will be the answer, but I think they could get a quarterback again. Hopefully it will be Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. It could be anybody, but they're taking on Miami, who's resting from their bye week after being off, but I still think Miami will win. It's in Miami, and ever since they fired Chris Grier, the Dolphins have been undefeated, which is huge for them. I'm going with Miami on this one. Dolphins will defeat the Saints 26-14. The Dolphins will go on to be 5-7. Saints will go on to be 2-10. We move on with our next game. And coming up at our next game, we have an AFC South matchup, and this is between the 6-5 Texans and the 8-3 Colts. Texans are here after that big win against Buffalo, 23-19. They have done a great job, and Davis Mills has been undefeated this season, when C.J. Stroud is out, because Stroud is still hurt with a concussion. They're going on to Indianapolis against the Colts, who lost to the Chiefs in overtime, 23-20. I swear, I think Daniel Jones had a great game still. Jonathan Taylor still had a great game. But I think they're going to get back on track. They're in Indianapolis. The Texans, I don't think, are going to win. The Colts are a whole lot better team. Jonathan Taylor is having a prime time. He's having a prime year. He's at the top of his career. I'm going with the Colts on this one. Colts will defeat the Texans 25-22. The Colts will go on to be 8-9-3. Texans will go on to be 6-6. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 4-7 Falcons and the 2-9 Jets. Falcons are here after that win against the Saints. Again, the Saints are utter garbage. Kirk Cousins is starting for the rest of the season, by the way, because Michael Penix hurt himself again. Back in the college injuries, caught up to him in the NFL. And now he's in trouble again. He got hurt. But either way, they're going on against the Jets, who lost to the Ravens 23-10. They were leading in the second quarter, but again, the Jets jetted, so I'm not surprised. I'm going with the Falcons on this one. The Falcons are a whole lot better team. The Jets are just downright trash. They're not a good team whatsoever. I'm going with the Falcons. Falcons will defeat the Jets 21-13. The Falcons will go on to be 5-7. The Jets will go on to be 2-10. We move on with our next game. And coming up at our next game, we got the 8-4 Niners and the 3-8 Browns. Both teams are coming back from wins. The Niners are here after winning against the Panthers. Despite Purdy throwing for 3 interceptions, they still won the game because the Panthers are garbage, 20-9. But now they're going on against Cleveland, who beat the Raiders 24-10 with Shedeur starting. And Shedeur is actually starting this next game because Dylan Gabriel was out. But now Shedeur is starting because after all this time, the Browns quarterback might be Shedeur. Who knows? But again, they're going on to be back at home, and they beat the Raiders because, again, the Raiders are a disgrace of a franchise in this NFL season. But I'm going to go with the Niners, though. The Niners, they're going to go on their bye week after this, and hopefully they could enter their bye week with above 500 record. They're still really good despite all these injuries at 8-4. I think they're going to go into their bye week with a win, and I think they're going to keep on winning despite all these injuries. The Niners will defeat the Browns 28-24. 49ers will go on to be 9-4. The Browns go on to be 3-9. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the best team in the NFC right now, the 9-2 Rams, going on against the 6-6 Panthers. Rams are here after completely destroying Tampa Bay on Sunday night, 34-7. Matthew Stafford is 37 years old, and he has done a great job this season. He is playing like an MVP. I think the Rams could make the Super Bowl. Who knows? But now they're going on to Carolina against the Panthers, who lost, and somehow they're 6-6 this season. Again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what type of black magic is going on, but they are 6-6, which is an improvement from whatever would happen these last 2 seasons with Bryce Young. So I would go easy on the Panthers, but again, they're going to go on bye week. So I'm going with the Rams. The Rams are very good this season. I think they're going to keep on going. I think they're going to be the first team in the NFC to reach 10 wins. The Rams will defeat the Panthers 29-16. Rams will be 10-2. Panthers will be 6-7. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game for our AFC South matchup, and this is between the 7-4 Jaguars and the 1-10 Titans. Jaguars are here after winning against Arizona in overtime in that ugly victory, 27-24. The Jaguars are 7-4. They have made a big improvement. Liam Cohen's a pretty good coach. Trevor Lawrence threw for 3 picks or 2 picks on Sunday, which was a huge letdown. But again, the Cardinals don't have Jacoby Brissett in either way. I think they're going to move on from Kyler Murray this season. I think Jacoby Brissett should be the answer, but again, I don't know if he's that good enough. But they're going on against the Titans, who lost to the Seahawks. I'm not surprised. The Titans are downright garbage. Cam Ward, I really hope, has a better career. Hopefully, the Tennessee Titans will get better like they did years ago. I'm going to go with the Jaguars on this one. Jaguars will defeat the Titans 31-20. The Jaguars will go on to be 8-4. Titans will go on to be 1-11. We move on to their next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 3-8 Cardinals and the 6-5 Buccaneers. Cardinals are here after losing to the Jaguars in overtime, 27-24, and Kyler Murray is still out until next week against the Rams, which is not going to matter because the Rams are going to probably steamroll over them. But again, they put up a good fight still. Cardinals are still a good team, though. They put up fights like they did in 23 when Joshua Dobbs stepped in when Kyler Murray was still recovering from an ACL tear. Now they're going on against Tampa Bay, who got completely whipped by the Rams, 34-7. Baker Mayfield got really hurt in his non-throwing shoulder, so I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is starting, but if it does happen, that'd be a really weird game. Jacoby Brissett and Teddy Bridgewater. I'm going with the Buccaneers either way. The Buccaneers are at home. They need to be back on track. This is a must-win game. I think they're going to beat Arizona. Buccaneers will defeat the Cardinals 33-10. Buccaneers will be 7-5. Cardinals will be 3-9. We move on with the next game. And coming up next for our 4 p.m. games, we only have 3 of them, which is not very much, to be honest. I'm going to go with these games. These are going to be very good games, but again, we'll find out. But our first 4 p.m. game, it's a Sam Darnold revenge game between the 4-7 Vikings and the 8-3 Seahawks. Vikings are here after losing to Green Bay 23-6. And J.J. McCarthy played like garbage, and now he has a concussion. I swear, J.J. McCarthy is reminding me of Christian Ponder all over again. And I keep telling everyone that J.J. McCarthy is not the answer, and they should have just kept Sam Darnold, because look at the Seahawks. They're going on to taking on Minnesota at an 8-3 record, and Sam Darnold's playing really good like he did in Minnesota, I swear. Justin Jefferson really helped him out. And now they have Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's playing really well as well. So the Vikings should have kept Darnold. And again, I keep telling this, but my dad, technically in his rookie year. But again, he didn't play his whole rookie season with a torn meniscus, and he's currently in his second season, but technically they call him a rookie. But J.J. McCarthy is playing like utter garbage. And the Seahawks are really playing well despite beating the Titans. But still, Seattle's a really good team. Sam Darnold might be the answer. Who knows? But I'm going to go with them over the Vikings. Seahawks will defeat the Vikings 35-26. Seahawks will be 9-3. Vikings will be 4-8. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next games, we have the 7-4 Bills and the 6-5 Steelers. Buffalo is here after losing to the Texans with Davis Mills, 23-19. Buffalo is not going to win the division this season. I think it's going to be the Patriots because Buffalo keeps running into their own mistakes. And again, the Bills don't have a good O-line, and that's why Josh Allen is really having a lot of problems. Now they're going on to Pittsburgh against the Steelers, who lost to the Bears mainly because Aaron Rodgers was hurt with a wrist injury, so Mason Rudolph is stepping in. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is playing against the Bills, but I'm going to go with Buffalo either way. Buffalo needs to be back on track if they want to get that wild card spot, along with Kansas City. But again, it could be anyone's game. It's in any given Sunday this season. So I'm going with Buffalo. Buffalo will defeat the Steelers 34-18. Buffalo will go on to be 8-4. Steelers will go on to be 6-6. We move on to the next game. And last but not least, for Sunday, for the 4 p.m. games, it's an AFC West showdown between the 2-9 Raiders and the 7-4 Chargers. The Raiders, they're here after losing to the Browns because, again, the Raiders can't experience joy, and I feel like they're wasting the careers of Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers. Geno Smith is not a good quarterback. I just said it. He is just not our answer, which is a huge letdown for them. I thought Geno Smith was going to be better. But again, huge letdown. He's going to probably retire. I think they're going to get somebody in the draft. I'm thinking that Kyler Murray might go to the Raiders, but I don't know if that's going to be true. But they're taking on the Chargers, who are coming back from their bye week. I think LA is going to electrocute them and sweep them for the season. They're undefeated in division. They beat the Broncos, Chiefs, and Raiders in the first 3 weeks. They took on those teams and they've won. So if they win, they sweep the Raiders for the season. But I think that's going to happen either way. The Chargers will defeat the Raiders 30-26. Chargers will be 8-4. Raiders will go on to be 2-10. We move on with our next game, and unfortunately, coming up next for Sunday Night Football, both teams are coming back from bye weeks. The 9-2 Broncos and the 3-8 Commanders. Both are coming back from bye weeks. Denver's going to probably win because, again, the Commanders have nothing. Well, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is returning, but either way, we're 3-8. But again, I don't really care about this season. I kind of missed last year, I have to admit, as a Commanders fan. But taking it personally, I think that we're going to lose this game. But either way, I won't be mad because, again, I just care if Jaden Daniels gets well again. I'm not huge on football right now because, again, I'm busy with college, and that's besides the point. I think Denver's going to win either way. But I really hope Washington gets better. I hope Scary Terry gets better. I hope Jaden Daniels will all be okay. But I'm going with Denver. Broncos will defeat the Commanders 35-14. Broncos will be 10-2. Commanders will be 3-9. We move on with our last game. And last but not least for Monday Night Football, our first December game, we got the 2-10 Giants and the 10-2 Patriots. Both records are reversed. We have a very crappy Monday night game. Giants are here after being eliminated from the playoff contention. The Giants will not be going to Super Bowl 60. They lost to the Lions in overtime, and Shane Bowen actually got fired because of that. Their defensive coordinator, who should have been fired in October after blowing that game against Denver. But either way, they're taking on the Patriots, who are 10-2, and Will Campbell is doubtful now after suffering an MCL injury. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on this one. I think they're going to beat the Giants. I think they're going to be fine. And I think the Patriots might be the first team this season to clinch a playoff berth. I think the Drake May, Tom Brady thing might be real. Patriots will defeat the Giants 16-10. Patriots will be 11-2, and the Giants will be 2-11. And that is it for this week, everybody. These are all my NFL picks for Week 13. Tune in next week for Anthony's NFL picks Week 14, which will be premiering next Tuesday, December 2nd, and our first December game. This is Anthony signing off, and have a great week.